From the studios of NBC 12 and ABC 25, this is Good Morning Jacksonville at 6.
Got some guys waking up winners this morning. Jacksonville has a new mayor, a new sheriff-elect as well, and new city council members. A breakdown of the winners just ahead.
And we're waiting to learn the names of the suspects after a deadly shooting that killed a local store clerk and took authorities on a wild, high-speed chase through 3 counties.
Well, yeah, plus trees down on homes after a wicked storm moved through the First Coast. What's in store for the rest of the week? I've got an answer for you with Steve Smith coming up.
That's right. Good morning, everyone. Thank you so much for waking up with us on this Wednesday morning at 6 o'clock. I'm Patty Crosby.
Good morning, Patty. Good morning to you as well. I'm Lou Turner. We're going to get right to the latest on the election results. But first, let us begin with that severe weather that impacted so many of us here along the First Coast. We've got pictures of a house damaged by a falling tree on Rutger Road on the north side, located off Dunn Avenue. That is bad stuff there. Meteorologist Steve Smith with more now on what we can expect for the remainder of our afternoon today. I imagine sort of a similar situation, a similar pattern.
Yeah, we've got some of the similar setup. Now, does that mean we're going to have the exact same thing happen? Not necessarily, but I do think there will be a couple of isolated strong thunderstorms as we get into the late afternoon. Right now, 68 degrees on the outside. We've got some dry skies out there. We're reinforcing that with our look at Doppler radar, and Doppler radar is looking pretty good at this particular time. With that, let's go to our hour by hour through the morning. I don't foresee any problems. 71 by 8 o'clock. By noon, 85. We'll max out at about 90 today, but once we get to that mid to late afternoon, say after 3 o'clock, start looking for scattered showers coming in from the west, some thunderstorms, and some of those showers are going to last as late as 11 p.m. But again, we could see that isolated strong thunderstorm, and if that pops up, our threat will be the gusty winds, the potential for small hail, and maybe some heavy downpours as well. Again, some of the showers going until 11 p.m. Right now around the area, we've got 72 Arlington and Atlantic Beach. We've got 72 at I-10 and 295. All right. Out and about, Jacob Long, and he's over on the north side, Dunn Avenue. Jacob, what do you have with that tree?
Well, Steve, good morning to you. So this house that we found not in good shape, I'm going to get out of the way so you can see this incredible image. We have a wide shot of it for you so you can see the perspective of just how bad this damage is this morning. So this 2-story house, this is in the 10,000 block of Rutgers Road. This tree came down right in the middle of those really powerful storms yesterday afternoon. It was still sunshine out. And then the wind came through, and you can see the roots totally exposed out here this morning. Took the tree down, knocked it right onto the second level of the house, took some of the shingles down, took out some of the roof. In the tree, in the leaves in there, you can even see pieces of debris, shards of wood. You can see the insulation coming out of the roof. So extensive damage, and it even looks like toward the back of the house there, I don't know if it's the same tree or if something else came down on it, but we can only see the view here from the front of the house. If there's any good news in here, it's that no one was home at the time, and so no injuries have been reported with this, but the homeowner is expected to be back out here today to begin the cleanup process. Certainly it is going to take quite some time, but this seems to be the worst of the worst of it in terms of the damage that was caused by that pretty big system that came through here yesterday afternoon. We also do want to get you a check of your roads this morning, so let's go back inside to Katie Jeffries.
Thank you so much, Jacob. So let's talk about those roadways. This is a wide look here at kind of all of our roads and our interstates, and they're actually looking quite good so far this morning, so that is some great news. 95 southbound going from Lem Turner towards the downtown area. It's starting to pick up, but if you get out the door right now, it's not bad, about 6 to 8 minutes. Now let's talk about Atlantic. Maybe you're headed out towards Mayport. No big problems here from 295 out towards A1A. It's very smooth, about 8 to 10 minutes there. And this is a live look right here, the East Beltway, 295 near the Dames Point Bridge. Starting to pick up kind of in this area of the Dames Point Bridge, especially on the northbound side here. Looks like they had a little wind there for a second. But overall, things are actually looking really nice. We haven't had any major accidents so far this morning. Let's keep it that way. Yes. Thank you, Katie. Well, the future of the city of Jacksonville already starting to take shape. The River City is getting a new mayor and a new sheriff.
All right, first to the mayor's race. Very close one. Ultimately, Republican Lenny Curry defeated incumbent Mayor Alvin Brown in last night's general election, taking 51% of the vote. Roger Weeder has more from Curry's campaign now.
A year ago, hardly anyone knew Lenny Curry outside of civic, political, and business circles. Now he's Jacksonville's next mayor. Curry ran on a campaign of connecting the city And most importantly, he says, public safety, making Jacksonville a safe city. He took the podium, thanked all of his supporters. Afterwards, he shook hands and took pictures. And that's when I asked him about his vision for Jacksonville for the next 4 years.
I feel good. It's time to put the campaign behind us, and one Jacksonville, one purpose, one future.
And that means what exactly?
That means all of us coming together for one purpose, for a Jacksonville that we can all be proud of, for a Jacksonville that in 10 years from now they'll look back on it and say that we left it better than we found it.
The Curry campaign says it was about hard work too. More than 250,000 knocks on doors and 80,000 calls on election day to voters. But now Curry is the next mayor, and he says he's ready to begin leading this city, one he calls One Jacks, One People. From downtown, Roger Weeder, First Coast News, NBC 12, ABC 25.
Roger, thank you so much. We're going to sit down with Mayor-elect Curry ahead in our next half hour. It's right at 6:40, so you can plan your morning around that. It'll be his first sit-down interview since winning last night.
Also want to let you know we invited all the candidates to come on today, but Curry accepted. Now, Curry's win means Mayor Alvin Brown is a one-term mayor. Brown emphasized all his administration's accomplishments in his concession speech.
I'm so proud of the progress we made over the last 4 years on putting Jacksonville first, creating an opportunity for all, 36,000 new jobs, unemployment cut in half, downtown is thriving. We left a strong foundation to build on.
Well, Brown says he is excited about his future.
You know, I want them to see a more engaged police force. I want them to see policemen down in neighborhoods, again, building relationships down at that neighborhood level, and we're going to drive that from the top down. So I think, you know, you'll see that sooner than later.
Well, we're hearing now from new Sheriff-elect Mike Williams just hours after his win. He says his new work starts this morning, and he already has plans to meet with new Mayor-elect Lenny Curry sometime this week. Williams says folks can expect to see changes with JSO. Tackling violent crime is going to remain his top priority.
Meanwhile, Ken Jefferson thanked his supporters and said he was proud of the campaign he ran. He took issue with what he called a negative campaign run by Mike Williams.
I refuse to stoop down and play in the mud. The office is too sacred to bow down to that level. And if I had to do it all over again, I would not change one thing.
Well, Jefferson said there is a gap between the sheriff's office right now. He says bridging that gap will be the biggest job for Mike Williams and Lenny Curry.
The Jacksonville City Council looks very different as well. 10 new members will join Jacksonville's council. 9 members are going to keep their current posts. You can see all of the results from the elections on firstcoastnews.com right now, as well as our mobile app. We've got our election ticker running all morning long as well. Just keep your eye on that for specific races you may be interested in, too. Right now, 2 First Coast teens are in custody accused of killing a store clerk and leading police on a high-speed chase. Police say it started at a tobacco beverage express store in St. Augustine, ended in Clay County.
First Coast News' Lisa Robbins joins us live from the store this morning where it all began. And Lisa, any idea if it will be open for business today, or have they thought about that next step yet?
Patty, we've heard there's a chance that the store could reopen for business as early as today. It was shut down yesterday for obvious reasons. Now we are live outside of the Tobacco Beverage Express store. I want to show you something new that popped up here overnight. So the community really in mourning for the store clerk who was shot and killed here yesterday. You can see there's some bouquets of flowers. Also, this candle was set up, and I'm told later on this week the community is going to hold a candlelight vigil for this man Friday evening. Now, not much is known about the store clerk. Customers describe him as a man in his 30s, and they say he was relatively new to the area, but they do not understand why he deserved to be shot and killed while on the job. Police tell us that 2 teens, 2 16-year-olds, they came to the store around 2 o'clock yesterday, robbed the store, and then during that robbery, they shot the clerk in the head. From there, they took off in a stolen Jeep. They ended up all the way in Clay County on US 17 in Green Cove Springs, where they were taken into custody. Police are not really releasing much information about these 2 teens, but we spoke with one woman. She claims to know one of the guys who was arrested. She tells us he was just released from a juvenile detention center and that he has been in trouble in the past. She says she also knew the clerk, and she is deeply saddened by his death. Listen to this.
I'll still come in the store, but he would be very missed in my heart. I loved him so much. He was always nice and kind.
And we know that the teens were taken into custody by Clay County authorities. They're facing several charges in connection with that high-speed chase this morning. I have placed some phone calls out to St. Augustine authorities to see what charges, if any, they will be charged with in connection with the clerk's death here. We are live in St. Augustine. Lisa Robbins, First Coast News, NBC 12, ABC 25.
All right, Lisa, thank you. We now know the names this morning of the people found dead in their home after an apparent murder-suicide last week. It happened in the 3700 block of River Hall Drive. It's happened on the south side. Authorities got involved after Teresa Williams' employer said she hadn't come to work. Officers say her 59-year-old husband, David, shot his wife, then turned the gun on himself about 2 days before their bodies were found.
Now, we have learned that one person is dead this morning. Another is in serious condition after a car crash near Keystone Heights. Investigators say that 21-year-old Madison Thomas tried to pass another vehicle. That's when police say she crashed head-on with another car coming in the opposite direction. She died on impact. 26-year-old Brandon Waters was taken to UF Shands with serious injuries.
This morning, the Coast Guard is calling off the search for 4 fishermen and the boat that reportedly caught fire and sank Monday. Search crews covered more than 2,000 square miles in just 24 hours. Investigators say they haven't found any debris from that boat and haven't learned any information about the people on board yet. Ahead in our next half hour, wildlife threatened as an oil spill blackens beaches this morning.
Plus, a traffic increase for your commute. Steve?
I'm looking at Doppler radar right now. It's dry. Is it going to stay that way? Not only for today, but for the weekend. Weekend update coming up. Here we go. Time for weather. I'm meteorologist Steve Smith. Good morning, everyone. It's 6:14. I'm looking at Doppler radar. Doppler radar is looking pretty good. Now, this afternoon, it's going to look pretty busy. Here we go again. A 50% chance for scattered showers. May see an isolated strong cell with that. That means your big threats will be gusty winds, perhaps heavy downpours, and maybe some small hail. Now, that's not going to happen everywhere. It's just going to be isolated if that pops up, but the showers are going to be there. 90 inland, 86 degrees at the beaches. Looking ahead to the weekend, Jazz Festival weekend. Friday, 10% chance for rain, high 89, 20% chances Saturday, 10% chances on Sunday. Currently around the area, 68 at Argyle and on the north side, 72 at Atlantic Beach. Let's go to Katie Jeffries now in the VyStar Credit Union Traffic Center.
Thank you so much, Steve. Good morning, everybody. So your time is 6:14. Let's take a look at your traffic map. We're still checking in with no major accidents according to the Florida Highway Patrol, so that is great. 295 northbound going from Blanding all the way up to I-10. 8 to 10 minutes there, no big problems. Maybe you're driving out of Clay County, maybe the Middleburg area. Not seeing any problems here from Everett Avenue up to College Drive. 10 to 12 minutes there as well. If you're driving out of St. Johns County, things look pretty nice from 95, or rather on 95, from State Road 16 up to 295. 16 to 20 minutes there. So things are moving pretty smoothly. Quick look here at 95 near the airport, and you can see drivers are not having any problems. And speaking of airports, drivers on the west side, particularly those living near Cecil Airport, expect to see some more traffic in your area for about the next year. Many of the planes from NAS Jacksonville are being moved to Cecil Airport, while some repairs are being made on a runway there at the base. On a daily basis, NAS Jax says around 2,200 more people will now be going over to Cecil. Regular commuters in the area will see more police presence at the entrance to Cecil Airport, and they will help direct traffic during heavy periods. So give yourself extra time, and the change will last, like I said, for about a year. Patty.
All right. Thank you, Katie. Severe thunderstorms brought a lot of wind, heavy rain, and even hail to the First Coast. Another look at all the damage from just yesterday.
Plus, a unique look inside a retirement community for former circus performers. We're not talking about the clowns. It's right here in Florida. Stay with us. It's 6:16.
So take a look at me now. There's just an empty space.
Oh, it's 6:18. Listen to that. Hail falling on the hood of a car. You can see it bouncing there right up through the windshield. A lot of rain, a lot of hail. This video was actually from Brunswick viewer Sherry Cobb, so we really appreciate her sending that in to us. And everyone who sent in video and pictures, you can check out our full gallery online right now, firstcoastnews.com.
There were reports of hail all over the area yesterday, so thanks for sending in the pictures. And unfortunately, you saw that damage in that home. It's still there on the north side, tree in the house, so it got pretty dangerous.
St. Simon's Island, record amount of rain yesterday, almost 2 inches. Compare that to the National Weather Service out at the airport, just over 1/10 of an inch.
Wow. And so today we are going to see something kind of similar, right?
Well, you know, it's just that usually with these patterns, you'll see something similar, but it'll hit in different areas. Or you may not see anything happening at all.
The ingredients are there, though.
Yeah, the ingredients are there. It looks like most of the ingredients are setting up that if all of them come together, to a certain extent, we will have a repeat of yesterday. Let's talk about our temperatures right now. 68 degrees on the outside. We've got calm winds, calm conditions. Haven't seen any fog developing this morning, but as I look at Doppler radar, I'm going to say, yeah, our condition is pretty good right now. I look up to Atlanta, down to Orlando. No problems, but our situation is the afternoon. I'm meteorologist Steve Smith. Good morning, everyone. It is 6:20. All right, I look at, not Doppler radar, but this is Futurecast. Here's our setup. We're going to see the west coast sea breeze really pushing things in. The east coast sea breeze is going to try to push in, but it's going to trap everything probably right over the Jacksonville area or nearby. So we can say I-95, along I-95 and just to the east in northeast Florida and maybe southeastern Georgia. That's where everything bunches up. And because it's not moving, if you do get a thunderstorm sitting there, you just have to wait for it to burn itself out. So there's a chance we could see that isolated strong thunderstorm that brings either small hail or perhaps some gusty winds or maybe even some heavy downpours. Now, are all of these cells going to do that? No, but there could be an isolated cell or two. I expect to see afternoon showers again on Thursday. Maybe not as numerous, not as vigorous, but there's still going to be enough there where it's going to be an inconvenience for a lot of people, especially commuters on the ride home. Friday's still up in the air. I've got this model saying looks like some showers. I've got some other models saying probably not. So I'm going with 10, maybe 20% max, and about 20% for Saturday as well. All right, you're getting started in Beauclair this morning. It's 72, 70 in Hastings and Switzerland Fruit Cove. We've got 68 Waycross and 68 degrees Brunswick. Yulee checks in at 67. Our 7-day forecast. Today and tomorrow, the 2 hot days, 90 to 92, but the scattered afternoon showers will definitely be a factor. Less rain for Friday, 20% Saturday, 10% Sunday, 30% for Memorial Day during the afternoon. Katie Jeffries in the ViStar Credit Union Traffic Center.
Good morning. Your time is 6:21. Traffic is actually moving pretty well at the moment. This is great. This is 95 near Old St. Augustine Road, and you can see moving very well. That's Baptist South right up there in the corner. So the northbound side, a little bit heavier here, but not bad at all. Only about 7 minutes to go from Old St. Augustine Road there up to JTB. So that is very nice. And like I said, a lot of green on those roadways, and that green is good. I'm not complaining. That's nice. JTB going from the beaches to I-95 is only about 11, maybe 15 minutes because it starts to pick up where JTB meets I-95. I-10 moving great. It's just a couple songs on the radio for you guys. 11 minutes to go from 301 to 295. So overall, no complaints out there on your roadways. Just please drive safe. If anything happens, though, I'll let you know.
Thank you, Katie. Now, in case you missed it, if you frequent the circus, you may know that Ringling Brothers is retiring all of its elephants by 2018. That's after 150 years of taking center stage. Well, our Jacob Long wanted to know what will happen to all the animals once they are phased out of the production when they're retired. So he traveled nearly 200 miles away to get us an inside look at a hidden preserve that's working to save this endangered species.
The mobile homes are permanent residents because these guys get fed again at 8:30, again at 11:30. So it's pretty much a 24-hour a day, certainly a 7-day-a-week involvement.
Now, the whole project comes with quite the price tag. The retirees cost more than it takes to take care of people in a whole year. I'm talking about people here. We'll put the whole story on firstcoastnews.com. You can see all that goes into taking care of those beautiful creatures. And we were saying, you know, where else would you go to retire but Florida, right?
Perfect place.
Yeah.
Sun and fun.
Exploding airbags prompt one of the biggest recalls in history. A lot of folks are concerned about this. How to find out if your car, the one you're driving, is affected by this.
But first, security savings, a huge deal drop on motion sensor lights to protect your property.
Welcome back, everyone. It's now 6:26. Today, we protect your property and your finances.
Money man Matt Granite has your security savings in today's Ways to Save.
Great to be with you. Happy midweek. Today, we say goodbye to those dark corners and unwanted visitors on your property. Now, I know you've seen motion sensor lights before, but this one is not only the brightest of the ones I've tested, but it has adjustable sensors. So you can turn one at one angle, one at another, and it has the most incredible price and some great features. Take a look. These are not paid products, so I really don't care what you buy, but I do want to save you money and also, of course, protect your home. Front sensors detect motion up to 40 feet away on this 240-degree field light system that I found. It has a 5-year warranty, and I want to show you how the lights did in tests, lighting up someone almost 40 feet away from a home. Now, the lights which I found today are 66% off, under $50 down from $150. They're waterproof, they're weatherproof, and it's on firstcoastnews.com where you can see it in action, find the deal as well as my full review. And until we meet again, I'm Matt Granite, NBC 12, ABC 25.
That's a great deal.
Something I could have used
You could have used that
yesterday with my car being stolen. If
I
you missed
know.
all that, it's on social media at Lou Turner. You can see that.
We were really feeling for you, but you got your car back.
It's back. Car's back. Thanks to St. Johns County Sheriff's Office. Hard work, fellas.
Just
well
gotta
done.
find the suspects.
Bingo. Let's get them. All right.
We'll let you know when they're found.
And I'm going to bring it to you as breaking news. 6:27 still ahead on Good Morning Jacksonville. A big night for season finales last night. The new crowned winners from The Voice, as well as Dancing with the Stars.
But no finale for us. We're ongoing, and Mother Nature has a return engagement this afternoon. We'll talk about that.
And starting to get into that heavy commute time, we'll talk drive times after this.
From the studios of NBC 12 and ABC 25, this is Good Morning Jacksonville at 6:30.
All right, let's talk about the weather now as we start this Wednesday morning. There you go. You can hear it. Rain, wind, hail. This amazing video came in from Panama Park, just north of downtown, as severe thunderstorms rolled through the First Coast. So thanks for sharing the pictures with us. Kelly, you can check our full weather gallery now at firstcoastnews.com. Hail reported all over the area.
Yeah, I'm glad you said that. That's not sleet.
No, there's a difference.
Frozen water falling out of the sky during the winter. You're not going to see that now.
but we saw
frozen water falling out of the sky during the spring and summer.
That's hail. Okay, so we want to know, we're going to see more of that today. We had trees down too. We were showed a tree in a house over there off of Dunn Avenue. So
my initial response is I'm hoping not, but I'm seeing some of the elements come together where we've got some potential there. So we can't rule it out at this point. Now, as far as a good start, yes, we're off to a good start. Good morning, everyone. I'm meteorologist Steve Smith. 68 degrees on the outside. We've got some light winds out there. I'm looking at Doppler radar right now. You know, we had some of those showers, not the strong ones, but we had some light rain that lasted as late as 2 this morning before things finally fell apart. But I'm looking around our region now. I don't see anything, so you can move forward to school and to work. Here's our setup for today, the hour by hour. 8 o'clock, 71. By noon, 85. As we get to 3 o'clock, start keeping an eye to the sky. 4 to 6 o'clock, really start keeping an eye to the sky. There will be scattered showers. We have the potential for that isolated strong thunderstorm that could produce that heavy downpour or maybe some small hail or perhaps some gusty winds. And like last night, some of those showers may be lasting until 11 p.m. Let's go to Katie Jeffries now in the VyStar Credit Union Traffic Center.
Thank you, Steve. Your time is 6:32. I hope you guys are all having a great morning out there. This is a look at I-10 and Cassett. This is the eastbound side right here, starting to pick up as more people make their way towards the downtown area. We did just get an accident in. This is at the Southside Connector and Lee Street. Now, there's no roadblocks there, so that shouldn't cause you any big problems, but do be careful whenever you're passing by an accident. Starting to build on beach boulevards. A lot of commuters wake up, they leave their homes. It's about 25 minutes to go from the beaches to US Run right now on Beach Boulevard. Also on Blanding, starting to pick up here. That's why you're seeing a little bit of yellow from people leaving their homes to go from about College Drive up to 295. It says 9 minutes, but it might be a little bit closer to 11 just from people having to stop at some of those stoplights there. A wider look here, you can see the major interstates, though, are still looking pretty nice. If anything else pops up, of course, we'll be the first to let you know. Lewis?
All right, Katie, thank you so much. More than 200,000 Jacksonville voters turned out over the past 2 weeks to elect a new mayor, sheriff, and 7 new city council members. At the end of the evening, with all votes counted, Republican Lenny Curry, 51% of the votes, leaving Alvin Brown as a one-term mayor. The election is well over a year of campaigning, totaling millions of dollars. We're going to have a chance to sit down with Mayor-elect Lenny Curry here in just a few moments, right around 6:40 time. Set the clocks, and we'll see what he has planned as we get towards July 1st and he takes the job. I'm sure the work begins now.
And new Jacksonville Sheriff-elect Mike Williams says his new work starts today. He beat Ken Jefferson 51 to 48% in the election. Williams says folks can expect to see new changes with JSO, and tackling violent crime will remain a top priority, he says.
As for exiting Sheriff Rutherford, John Rutherford actually now planning to run for a seat in Congress after 3 terms. It looks like he's going to make a run for that congressional 6th district seat, the one that will be vacated by Ron DeSantis as he makes a run for Marco Rubio's vacated Senate seat.
And 10 new members will also join Jacksonville City Council. 9 members will keep their current posts. You can see all the results from the election. Just go to firstcoastnews.com. 2 suspects wanted in connection with the shooting death of a store clerk in St. Augustine are now in police custody this morning after a high-speed chase through 3 counties. This all happened yesterday afternoon at the Tobacco Beverage Express in St. Augustine. That 3-county high-speed chase came to an end on Highway 17 in Green Cove Springs with what's called a pit maneuver. They say the black Jeep that the suspects were in may have been stolen.
It's crazy because this has never happened in Green Cove Springs, like, especially not around this area.
Well, right now we're waiting for the names of the victim and the 2 suspects who are in custody. There is a vigil planned for this Friday in St. Augustine at the store where that clerk died. Our Lisa Robbins will have much more on that developing story straight ahead for us coming up at 6:45. Lewis?
New information on that school bus shooting shocked the First Coast and left 2 girls hurt. On Sunday, we spoke exclusively to Jarrell Anderson. He was the 2nd bus driver on board during that traumatic incident. But 3 days later, JSO actually called our newsroom to tell us we had our facts wrong. You see, police never actually questioned Anderson because they say he was never on the bus. We triple-checked his identity. He even showed us his blood-splattered clothes he was wearing that day. Turns out the mistake, in fact, was JSO's.
I mean, we're going back and forth about if I was there or not, but we're forgetting what's at hand. You still have 2 kids that were shot.
Well, as for those girls who were shot, Kayla Singleton is out of the hospital now. The other student, Ayanna Sherman, is still at UF Health. We did reach out to her mother. She says her daughter is doing better this morning.
A new video this morning after a JSO-involved vehicle crash near Jacksonville International Airport. This all happened just after 5 yesterday afternoon near the intersection of Airport Center Drive and Sterrett Road. An officer is recovering from what investigators are calling severe injuries. Another person was taken to the hospital. No word yet on what caused the crash. Lewis?
Well, it's a problem that's plagued Florida for years. We're talking about pedestrians getting killed just trying to cross the street. Our investigative team first covered the dangers of crosswalks back in February, but the problem hasn't been alleviated. Nearly 400 accidents were reported in Jacksonville last year alone. But the danger is not news to the people who actually use the crosswalks every single day. Now we're hearing from one man who's making it his mission to make this simple task of crossing the road a little less deadly.
And cars come very fast. As I said, pedestrians are almost swiped all the time.
Well, that's Alvin Zex there. He's a longtime resident of Jacksonville. He's pushing for additional crosswalks as well as better safety measurements to help other pedestrians. We do have Florida Department of Transportation's response to his requests online right now at firstcoastnews.com. Plus, you can see what we've found to be the most dangerous crosswalks as well as the most dangerous times to walk, down to the day of the month. Pretty interesting stuff there. Plans to build a fuel pipeline from Florida up to South Carolina, while our neighbors in Georgia may be putting a stop to it.
Plus, Lenny Curry in the studios right now, just the day after his big win as mayor. What he has to say about his win and the plans he has for Jacksonville now. We're going to talk to him live right after the break, so stay right there.
Well, the future of the city of Jacksonville already starting to take a new shape. Republican and Mayor-elect Lenny Curry defeated incumbent Mayor Alvin Brown, making him a one-term mayor in last night's general election, and he is here now with us live. Thank you for being with us. Congratulations, by the way.
Good to be with
you. How
you.
you feel?
Good.
Feeling good?
Ready to get to work.
Okay, so when does the work begin? What do you do from here now that you've won?
Well, begin building a transition team so we can get to work on the issues of the day. And look, I spoke to the mayor last night. He was gracious. I look forward to working with him. Here's what we agree on. We both love Jacksonville. We both want Jacksonville to be all that it can be. So one Jacksonville, one purpose, solving the issues that we've talked about over the course of this campaign with an eye toward the future.
It was a very close race, and more than 200,000 people ultimately through early voting and through the actual voting itself yesterday showing up. but again, very, very close. How do you take those results? You obviously are the winner. You obviously will be stepping up and putting your platform forward. Do you take anything from the previous administration, or is it a total clean sweep and this is Lenny Curry's time?
Absolutely take things from the current administration. Look, you can always take institutional knowledge and use it. But it's time to put the campaign behind us. It's time for one Jacksonville, one purpose. Every neighborhood, and that's how I will govern and how I will lead.
Well, let's listen. We were, of course, at Mayor Alvin Brown's party last night and listened to his concession speech. Had some interesting things to say about his time as mayor. Let's listen. I'll get your comments about that as well.
I'm so proud of the progress we made over the last 4 years on putting Jacksonville first, creating an opportunity for all, 36,000 new jobs, unemployment cut in half, downtown is thriving. We left a strong foundation to build on.
Agree or disagree?
There's certainly things to build on, but look, in this economic recovery that we've experienced in Florida and in Jacksonville, the fact is Jacksonville's lagging behind other cities in the state, and there are neighborhoods that have been left behind. So I want to work to make sure everyone in Jacksonville has the same opportunities that I've had.
So we've talked a little bit, you heard him talk a little bit about downtown, but one of the things you've got to have for a thriving city is your citizens that have to feel safe.
That's right.
So you've got a new sheriff as well, and I'm sure you'll be working very closely with Mike Williams. But let's talk just a little bit as mayor specifically. I know you can't control directly what the sheriff is going to do in his plans. We read it all the time, whether it's just reactionary, but we're reading about crime a lot in the last few weeks and last couple of months. What do we do?
My top priority is public safety, making sure every person, every family, every neighborhood is safe, and that starts with budget priorities. My top budget priority will be making sure that we have the right number of police officers on the street, but that we're also investing in programs that will give at-risk kids an opportunity, after-school programs, academic programs, a place where they can learn and know that there's a better way forward.
Will you meet with the sheriff?
Absolutely, regularly. I spoke to Mike Williams last night. Look forward to working with him. And it starts today.
Let's talk downtown in the time that we have left. You heard the mayor make comments that we have a thriving downtown now. We've got this several plans potential up for the shipyards development, which is right across the street. Can I get you to comment just a little bit about maybe some vision you might have for that sort of development?
Well, I think it's a tremendous opportunity, the shipyards, but look, the solution to downtown is a solution to much of Jacksonville, and that is cutting the private sector loose. It's difficult right now to do business in Jacksonville. This is not a place that attracts venture capital money, private equity money. It's not a place that's easy to develop or start a small business. I'm going to make the business environment in Jacksonville easy. Once we cut the private sector loose, downtown will flourish, neighborhoods will flourish.
Because there's so much more to Jacksonville than just downtown. You've got the beaches all the way out to Western Duval as well.
That's right. Downtown's important. You can't be a suburb of nowhere, but it's not a zero-sum game. Every neighborhood in Jacksonville matters. We can do this as one community.
All right, Lenny Curry, mayor-elect, congratulations. July 1, take office and get the ground running.
Thank you.
Appreciate your time.
It's good being with you.
Yeah, you bet. Patty?
All right, thank you, Lou. Will soon be the end of an era for late-night television. How other hosts are now saying goodbye as David Letterman prepares for his final show tonight. And a history-making recall and a warning for drivers what you need to know about the airbags that could be in your car. We'll be right back.
It's 6:46. It's time for your power block of news. Of course, breaking news, top stories, weather, traffic. Katie, right now, taking a look at our drive time. Steve is tracking our chance of perhaps getting another round of some severe weather later on this afternoon.
Yeah, we hope it's calmer, but we'll find out. Jacob Long following the damage left behind from all the wind and the hail. But we start this morning with our Lisa Robbins and the newest developments on a 3-county high-speed chase following a deadly shooting. Good morning, Lisa.
Patty, good morning. So I'm standing right in front of the Beverage Tobacco Express along Masters Drive in St. Augustine. This is where that store clerk was shot and killed yesterday afternoon. And we've learned part of this might have been captured on camera. Several surveillance cameras outside the store, including this one in the corner. We know there's another one inside. Take a look at this scene video. So police tell us yesterday around 2 o'clock, 2 16-year-olds, they robbed this store, and during the robbery, they shot the clerk in the head. From there, they took off in a stolen Jeep. They made their way up into 3 counties before they ended up in Green Cove Springs along Highway 17. That is where they were taken into custody. Now, their names, identities have not been released yet. We know they're facing several charges in connection with that high-speed chase in Clay County, but St. Augustine police are not saying what charges, if any, they will face in connection to the death of the store clerk. Now, as far as the clerk is concerned, customers here say he's relatively new to the area. They say that he knew all of his customers by name and that he was in his 30s. We've learned that later on this week, Friday night, in fact, there's supposed to be a vigil here, and you can see right here in the corner of the store, a makeshift memorial popped up overnight for people here who say they're absolutely shocked, and they hope that the people responsible for taking this man's life will be held accountable for their actions. We, of course, will keep you updated on any new developments that we get today. We're live in St. Augustine. Lisa Robbins, First Coast News, NBC 12, ABC 25.
All right, thank you so much, Lisa. Let's talk about the weather now. I'm sure that's on a lot of your minds. Are we going to have the same thing we saw yesterday?
Let's hope not, but I'm sure there is that opportunity, huh, Steve?
Yeah, you know, we're still in a mode where we could see some pretty active afternoon showers and maybe a couple of strong isolated storms. But let me jump ahead for a second. Let me talk about the weekend, especially from the fact that we've got the Jazz Festival going, 89 Friday, maybe a 10% chance for rain. We'll keep an eye on that. The models are mixed. Light rain chances 10 to 20% for Saturday and Sunday, while temperatures stay in the 80s, and that's going to feel pretty good. Right now on Doppler radar, I'm not seeing any problems at this point, but I do see a setup that's similar to yesterday. We're going to have winds coming out of the west from the Gulf of Mexico. That front near Atlanta is still trying to sag south. We could see an upper level disturbance sweeping in along with the east coast sea breeze pushing in. Now, if all of those things kind of converge and merge at the same time, we could potentially have a repeat of yesterday. Now, are all the showers going to fall in the same places? Not necessarily. St. Simon's Island had record rainfall yesterday over at the National Weather Service. You barely had enough rainfall to measure about 0.14 of an inch. But for today, that west coast sea breeze is really going to push. So that means everything is going to get trapped, or a lot of the heavier stuff is going to be trapped between, we'll say, downtown and the beaches, or I-95 and the beaches areas. So that means there's going to be some isolated heavy downpours, may have some isolated strong storms that perhaps produce some hail. We'll have to watch that, but I think the shower power is going to be the thing. Scattered showers for Thursday, maybe not as strong as numerous, and less activity for Friday. Now, let's go ahead and go to the 7-day forecast. So today and tomorrow at or just above the 90-degree mark, then starting Friday back into the 80s, and that's when the rain chances reduce. We have a front that's going to come in. We should start to dry out a little bit on Friday. That's why I've reduced the rain chances for Saturday and Sunday, 30% chance for rain on Monday. Now, yesterday, with everything that went on, we had hail, but we also had some property damage, especially on the north side, just off of Dunn Avenue, and that's where we have Jacob Long, because we had a tree that fell on and damaged a home.
Yeah, Steve, good morning. We've been talking about that tree for a couple of hours now, but with the sun up, we have some brand new perspective about how bad this is. So I am literally standing in the hole that this tree came out of, and the winds were so strong out here that the roots came right out of the ground, and we're talking about a hole that is about 4 feet high at least. I mean, it's up to my hip, and you can see just how tall it is. So I know that I'm not the tallest guy in the world. I'm about 5'8", but you can see that this is well above my head, so it's talking about 6 feet into the air. And you guys, that is just the beginning. So let me climb out of here and show you and go around the camera here to the other side. You can see that the trunk, when it did come out of the ground, it landed smack dab right up there onto the second story, taking out the roof, taking out the shingles, and some of that debris has actually fallen down. And it's difficult to see because there are still a lot of leaves and moss and everything kind of in here, but you can see that the insulation is there, the windows are broken, the frames are all busted out, and it's fallen down here onto the grass. And this is not the only thing we saw with this big system yesterday up in the Georgia area. Our viewers very quick to get out their cell phone and snapshot all of the crazy hail that was just pelting their windows. I mean, in this cell phone video, you can hear it. You can definitely see it just smacking up against that patio, one right after the other. The damage up in Georgia, though, as long as we've heard, has not appeared to be as bad as what we have found here on the north side. This really is the worst of it, and they have such a cleanup process. I mean, this just happened last night. The owner hasn't even been here yet this morning. No doubt he couldn't have stayed here. So, of course, he's going to have to deal with insurance and getting this out of the way. But you guys, so thankful to report to you this morning that no one was seriously hurt. We're live on the north side. Jacob Long, First Coast News, NBC 12, ABC 25.
That's right, Jacob. Thankfully, nobody was hurt. You're right. So let's talk about the Buckman Bridge right now. The Buckman Bridge is picking up, but not too bad. You can see traffic is moving pretty well across it at the moment. In fact, all of our bridges are checking in accident-free. We do have an accident at the Southside Connector Boulevard and Lee Street, but it's not too serious. Sounds like it's off to the side of the roadway there. No roadblocks. Picking up on Atlantic, as you can see by this red, to go from 295 to A1A is about 9 to 11 minutes. Now, over here on I-10 eastbound, the ramp there to Lane, we're hearing there's a broken down car that's partially blocking that ramp. So really be careful when you're going through there. If you're staying on I-10 to go from 295 to downtown, it says 5 minutes. I'd really give it more like 7 to 8 because of the building congestion. Elsewhere on our roadways here, Blanding starting to get kind of slow, about 31 miles per hour as you stop and go at those stoplights from about the Middleburg area, honestly, all the way up here to 295. It's going to be kind of heavy as it always is on Blanding and US 17. So again, no major problems out there so far. If anything pops up, I keep tweeting after the show at Katie_Jeffries. Patty?
Thank you, Katie. And time for your top stories to help you get out the door. Right now, stores in Waco, Texas shopping center are getting ready to open for the first time since that biker brawl that left 9 people dead. Police also released the names of the 9 killed in that shooting. They were between 27 and 65 years of age. Investigators now say the whole thing started when someone ran over a biker's foot in the parking lot. Lewis?
Patty, thank you. Authorities in Central Florida say they stopped a plot to attack the police department in Eustis. The sheriff's department says a tip from inside a jailhouse led police to a shed that was stockpiled with guns as well as ammunition. The 2 men hiding out in that shed are now facing several charges. The tipster who called also claimed the men planned to use a rocket launcher in their attack on police, but that weapon that was never found. Trending online this morning, a 79-year-old man on the run for 56 years, now back behind bars, convicted of manslaughter. Frank Freshwaters escaped from the Shawshank State Prison in 1959. He lived in several states, working as a truck driver, and then retired. He was arrested earlier this week in Melbourne, Florida. He's going to be sent back to Ohio to face a judge yet again.
The Georgia Department of Transportation just put the brakes on a plan to build a fuel pipeline from Florida all the way to South Carolina. The Transportation Commissioner says he doesn't see a growing demand for gas consumption regionally. Texas company Kinder Morgan needs Georgia's approval to proceed since they are in the middle state in that project and would have to go right through Georgia. Well, new video this morning of a Norwegian cruise ship that ran aground in Bermuda. The Norwegian Dawn cruise ship hit a reef near Bermuda's North Channel. More than 2,600 passengers on board, more than 1,000 crew members as well. Now everyone aboard is safe and that ship has full power, just a bit of a nuisance. And just in, video from a massive oil spill along the California coast near Santa Barbara. Officials say an oil pipeline leaked 21,000 gallons. Some of it made it to the ocean. The Coast Guard is reporting an oil slick up to 4 miles wide. The good news, the leak is now stopped and emergency cleanup is underway. It could now take months, perhaps even longer, to service millions of recalled airbags. Under pressure from the government, Takata has agreed to declare almost 34 million airbags defective. The bags can deploy with too much force and then spew shrapnel into the passenger compartment. 6 deaths have been linked to this glitch worldwide.
The winner of The Voice is Sawyer Fredericks. You won it!
There you go. It's the night fans of The Voice have been waiting for. You saw it here on NBC 12 as Sawyer Fredericks crowned the winner. The after party just now wrapping up in Los Angeles. So much talent on the stage. That was not an easy call.
And new champions of Dancing with the Stars are Rumor and Val.
There you go. Rumor has it. Rumor Willis and Val Chomorowski took home the Mirrorball trophy last night, leading up to the 20th season finale of Dancing with the Stars. If you've been watching that, I mean, Rumor.
Yeah, she was pretty good.
Incredibly talented.
Yeah, she did pretty good. All right, tonight is the night. Just one more show before David Letterman gives his final goodbye. He had a role in changing late night with some of his famous recurring bits like Pet Tricks and Stupid Human Tricks. Also, Will It Float was one of my favorite. There are more than 200 of those over the years. Other networks and late night hosts are also looking back at the comedian.
I think this show and what late night has become is a result of him playing with the genre and experimenting and exploring and doing that stuff. And I, like every kid who grew up watching him, will miss him.
All right. Say bye-bye to David Letterman. We'll say bye-bye to you as well. The news continues on firstcoastnews.com as well as at FC Indigo. See you in a few minutes.